Hello, everybody. This is Howard the Teaser King coming to you. Week 11 of college football already. Hard to believe it's week 11. There's still about 3 weeks, 4 weeks left. And then all the bowls and then the playoffs and everything else. Um, so right now you have these teams that are trying to fight for the playoffs. Your Michigan, Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Washington. So they're all looking to put up a big number. Um, it's going to be hard for Michigan at Iowa, and at Iowa, Iowa's pretty tough at home. Washington has USC. It's going to be hard to blow them out. Um, Louisville should blow out Wake Forest. Ohio State should blow out Maryland, or get a pretty high score in there. So you got to keep that in mind. But the bookies have adjusted. Or the line, Louisville laying 34, Ohio State laying 29, Michigan laying 22 at Iowa. So you have a lot of big numbers, because they know they have to win. Um, so keep that in mind. Keep that, they got to play. Keep in mind teams that are trying to win their conference to get to the conference championship games. And I mean in all the conferences, not just the top five. I hate that it's like the Power Five and the non-Power Five. It's just so stupid. Because teams like Boise and San Diego State can easily beat a lot of the teams, and in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 and the Big 10. I mean, San Diego State, the way they're playing now, is better than Minnesota. They're probably right up there, better than Iowa, things like that. So it really is ridiculous that they try to market the Power Five conference. Anyway, so let me give you a couple of games here in college. I've been very hot lately. I was 11-4 last week. I think I was 13-4 the week before in college. In pro, I was 10-1 last week, and I think. I think I've had one. I don't think I've had any losing weeks in pros. The worst week I had, I think, was a 7-3. Um, anyway, um, let me give you a few games here in college, and I'll give you the reasons as I go. Um, First game will be Wyoming laying 7.5 to UNLV at UNLV. I like betting momentum, and I like betting teams like they just beat Boise 2 weeks ago, and then last week they killed Utah State. Wyoming's got a really good running back, Hill. They got a decent quarterback. They got pretty good defense. Vegas' quarterback's out. Um, their backup's playing. I'll give you a quick points on this. Wyoming scores 35 a game and gives off 29, but they're a very balanced offense and a very strong running attack, which I like because running teams just keep pounding you. A quarterback can be off and throw an interception, but a running team, there's really no defense. UNLV scores 30 but gives up 32, and they're kind of more of a balanced offense. I think their quarterback is a little like a running quarterback, so he'll throw and he'll run. And I just see that the game is Wyoming laying 7.5. You can cut it to 1.5 or take Vegas in 13. Over under is 65. Now I can go over or under there, but if I break it down, 65 is a big number. I can tease it down to 59. Well, when I look at it, Wyoming's going to run the ball. Now they do average 35 a game, and Vegas scores and gives up about 30. So I think Vegas, but then they have the backup quarterback. I think they still score probably at least in the 20s. Wyoming's defense is not bad, so I would think the game probably will go over the 59 if you take 65 down. But that's not the bet I'm saying here. I don't see how you go under 71. I think it's a high scoring game. But the play I like here is Wyoming -1.5. I think when a team gets momentum, they beat Boise finally. Then they beat Utah State. Now they're rolling. Vegas is not that good of a team this year. Their defense is terrible. Wyoming with that running attack. Vegas doesn't really have a great runner like Wyoming does. So I look at Wyoming after that win to be very, keep the momentum going. I don't see them losing this game. I wouldn't even take Vegas in 13.5. So again, you ask yourself, which side do you want to go on? Well, do you want Vegas in 13.5? And if you say no, that obviously means Wyoming -1 must be the play, because I'm afraid to take Vegas in 13.5. You can also go over. The play I'm giving you is Wyoming -1.5, but you could also, it could be a high scoring game. It might not be. Wyoming might bury them, and then Vegas will have to throw the ball, and they're not a very good passing team. You got to be careful, because some of these teams are pretty good are better at home than they are on the road. So Vegas might be bad on the road, but then they're pretty good at home. But Wyoming's won a few games on the road, so I'm very careful to notice that. Going, yeah, how do they play on the road? Okay, they play pretty well. Anyway, I like Wyoming's offense to score a lot here. Their defense will do enough to stop Vegas with the backup quarterback, and you just have the momentum. They beat Boise, and that's really all you need to know. Boise's far superior athletes than Vegas does. So when a team beats a Boise, they have the momentum. This is a game they win. They get on that roll and they keep going. And I really love these spreads when they're like 7s down to 1. I did that tonight. The Baltimore line for some reason dropped from 10 to 7, and I love Baltimore -1 in the pros. I just love that. I had what was that? I think there was a game. I had New England, I think, -6 at Buffalo or 7, cut them to 1. Once I can define the team that just needs to win, but they're a good team or better than the team, that's what I like. I hate these 20s down to 14.5 or 21 down to 15, because it's such a hard number to cover. But once you get 7 down, last week I had Alabama basically 7 and then 8 down to 1 or 2 over LSU, and I had Dallas. That was my lock, one of my locks, Alabama Dallas. Both of them were 7s down to 1 or 7.5 down to 1.5, and I really love that, because once you can identify that strong team, and that's really what my strength is, identifying the teams, then you can go from there. So first part of the teaser, take Wyoming, lay the 1.5. They're hot. I don't think they have a chance to win the division. They might. I know San Diego State's in their division, so I don't know if it's East and West or not. I know San Diego State's in the lead there, barring they got to play Boise, I believe. But if Wyoming has a chance, then they're good. But they're on a hot streak anyway, and against a weaker Vegas team, I look for Wyoming to get the win. All I got to do is win by 1.5. That's a very strong play. My other play is Utah State's playing New Mexico, and the over-under is 62.5. New Mexico puts up 38 a game and lets up 31. Another, just like Wyoming, balanced offense and a strong running game. They have 2 really strong running backs going against Utah State, who scores 24, allows 29. Their quarterback is hurt. They're going to start another quarterback who hasn't done anything. I assume he's probably like a running quarterback. I looked at New Mexico versus other running quarterbacks like Air Force, and they beat them, and they're on a real hot streak with New Mexico. My line was New Mexico -7 in this game, and the Utah State quarterback, they didn't know if he was playing or what was going on, so they didn't have a line. They came out with a line today, and Utah State's favored by 2.5. And my heart jumped and my eyes lit up, and this is what I just wait for. Sometimes when I tell you I have good matchups and bad matchups, where I don't get the right underdogs, that's what I mean. It's like here, you wanted, I wanted New Mexico. I was going to bet them -7 down to -1. Now I get them +2.5 up to +8.5. I'm just blown away. This spread's way off. I didn't see any major injuries. New Mexico's going to run it down their throats, and they've been red hot. Utah State's been very cold lately. A lot of injuries, and basically, like with the quarterback. But they're not the same Utah State team that was there a couple years ago. I mean, the coach has moved on and everything, so they got a fairly good defense, but I'm not worried about it. I just think their offense is very good, and I love getting a explosive team, especially a running team, as a dog versus a weak favorite in Utah State. Utah State at home, I don't see New Mexico losing this game, and I'm getting 8.5 points. I'm blown away. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I had New Mexico State 2 weeks ago at Hawaii, and they won there as the dog. And again, it was, I couldn't believe they were the dog at Hawaii, and they won 28-21. So yeah, they're going to run the ball. So it's hard to play over/under on running teams because they tend to, it could be long drives and things like that. So it takes up more clock. So you get more unders. Like passing, they can 5 passes and it's a touchdown. It takes a minute. Here you go on a 10-play, 80-yard drive that takes 6-7 minutes. It hurts the overs. So I'm not going to mess around with the over/under here. I got the live dog that I want, New Mexico. I'm just blown away that they're getting points. It's unbelievable. So that's your big play here. Take Wyoming -1.5, New Mexico +8.5. Anytime you can get a strong team like New Mexico getting points from a weaker team, that's what I'm looking for. That's how you bet. You look to bet against the weak favorite with the strong dog. And that's how I lock a lot of games with that type of scenario. I think last week the Giants and Philly, and the Giants were 3-point favorites. Again, a weak favorite playing a fairly strong dog in Philadelphia. And I locked Philly getting 9 and was a winner. I did that again with Jacksonville and Oakland. Jacksonville was a 2-point favorite over Oakland. How the hell could they be favored over Oakland? And I locked Oakland there. So that's what you're looking for, is the weak favorite. And sometimes when you get the Sun Belt teams and you get the MAC teams, it's kind of hard to figure who's the strong favorite and the weak favorite. I know Western and Toledo, Western Michigan, are strong teams. Where some of the other middle teams you're not sure of, or the Sun Belt. But in this case, Utah State's clearly a weak team. New Mexico, clearly a strong team, averaging 38 a game, and here you got them against Utah State. This is just gold. I mean, this is just, I'm just like in shock that they're 2.5-point dogs. Bet that one, bet it hard. Put New Mexico on a couple of teasers. There you go. That's your play. Wyoming -1.5, New Mexico. Good luck. My locks are going to just stay at 77 for the rest of the year. I'll start lowering my season prices probably this week to a more like, okay, buy the rest of the year. It'll be a reasonable price for people interested in that. Because I get a lot of buyers who buy a week at a time, and I try to give them a discount if they buy a month or if they buy the rest of the year. But the rest of the year needs to be adjusted because it's at a full year price, so that'll be adjusted next week. But anyway, two very good plays. I got a lot of good college plays this week. The pros are extremely tough this week. I don't know if I'll have a lock in the pros. I'm trying to come up with one. The matchups are really tough. I might have one lock, but I'm not. I don't. Nothing really sticks out at me that says, yeah, that's a lock. So at this point, I have two college teams in a lock, possibly 3 or 4, because I really like a lot of college this week. And again, it's just the matchup. Here you got Utah State favored over New Mexico. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I go with. So some weeks I get that, and then like last week, it was all over in the pros. It was unbelievable. I hit everything. But every matchup was perfect. So anyway, good luck on that one, and please come to the website www.teaserking.com. You'll see I'm plus 30,000 for the year, and the locks are kind of deceiving. I've been hitting a lot of them, but I put them in multiple teasers. For example, Alabama, I locked with Dallas last week, but I also put Alabama in a non-lock situation with Iowa under. So that won, but it doesn't count as a lock. So the lock games, when I say I go 4-2 in my locks, you have to realize I'm putting teams that I lock, like Alabama, in 3 teasers. I put Dallas in 3 teasers. I put Philadelphia in multiple teasers. So one of them's a lock, Dallas, Alabama, but when I put Dallas in another teaser and it wins, you got the lock team, but it's not called a lock because the other team I'm putting them in, I'm not locking. So you have that also. So keep in mind, when I give you a lock, I'm giving you the team. So when I give you the team, if I lock a teaser, both teams are locks, and I play them in multiple teasers. So if you look at my history, you'll see how I play teams in 2 or 3. Try to keep them in 2 teasers max. And one other thing, when you do buy from me, if a game loses early, but I love the second half, I'll play the second half in another teaser. So that's when you have to go back on the site, or just figure, let's say I had Alabama in a lock last week with, I don't know, Wisconsin, but Wisconsin didn't cover. Then Wisconsin doesn't cover, so then here comes, but I still love Alabama. It's a night game. Well, I'm going to put Alabama in another teaser, probably with the pro game, which is what I did. I put them with Dallas. So keep that in mind, that that's my mentality. And I'm very live and interactive. I'm not like a handicapper that gives you the 3 games on Thursday and that's it, and you don't hear from them. You can ask me. I get a lot of people asking me, do 5-team teasers for them. Who do I like in this game and that game? So I get that all over the place, and that's fine. But I will add a game Sunday morning. I'll put my pros out there today, tomorrow, but then Sunday morning I'll hear something, or the line will change. For example, today on the Jacksonville-Houston game, all of a sudden Houston was favored. Now Jacksonville is favored. Well, that's a totally different bet, getting Houston as a dog than trying to play Jacksonville as a dog. Or even on tonight's game, Baltimore went from 10 to 7. Well, all of a sudden that's a bet. At 10 I didn't like it. At 7 I loved it. So, but as that information comes, I'll make an adjustment on the site. I'm trying to make you money. I'm acting as if I'm in Vegas in line waiting to make a bet when I hear that kind of news. If I hear a guy's out, or a guy who's supposed to be out is playing, I'll adjust the bet accordingly also. So keep in mind, I'm very interactive, and I will add plays Sunday morning for the pros. I'll play Saturday afternoon. I might add the Saturday night college game, especially if it's a game like Alabama last week where it's a lock. I might add them with Dallas on at 4 o'clock for an 8 o'clock Saturday game. So just keep that in mind. I'm just trying to be up to the minute. Whatever's breaking, if the lines are jumping way different, I'm trying to keep that in perspective. All right, everybody. Well, good luck. I've given you two very good games here. Good luck to you this weekend. www.teaserking.com. Have a great day.